What is going on, everybody, and welcome to the video. So today I figured I would sit down and I would go over something that a lot of people are posting about online, and it actually has to do with the identity of the Master of Masters. So there's a lot of theories going around surrounding the Master of Masters identity. Is it somebody that we know? Could it be someone completely different? Now, one of the most popular theories that's actually circulating right now is that Demyx is actually the Master of Masters. Now, there's a lot of different reasons as to why people are believing that Demyx could potentially be the Master of Masters. Most of them have to do with his disappearance at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3. Where did he go? Is there a reason? His mannerisms, and then just, I guess, some of his dialogue that's been dropped throughout the Kingdom Hearts series as a whole. However, I'm going to respectfully disagree with this theory, just given the fact that there's a lot more information within Kingdom Hearts 3 and the series in general that we've actually learned about Demyx as a whole, and just, you know, what's going on with him and why he is not the Master of Masters. So one of the first reasons as to why I believe Demyx is not the Master of Masters is because his disappearance, in my opinion, has to deal with the Union Cross narrative. It's implied throughout the game that not only Larxene and Marluxia, but Demyx in Luxord are also part of the time of Union Cross. Now, we haven't seen Luxord or Demyx yet, but it being implied sort of implies that we will see them in the future, and we will learn a little bit more about Demyx as well as Luxord. But the fact that Demyx is part of that narrative in general sort of makes me believe that he has a bigger role in store for him. I shouldn't say bigger, but I guess a lesser role than the Master of Masters. You know what I mean? I just feel like that Demyx being the Master of Masters, I don't think he would have been grouped in with those people, just as, you know, Xigbar wasn't grouped in with those people. The reason why those four are together means that they're all together for the same purpose. You know, when Xemnas says, we're going to unlock the secrets of the ancient Keyblade War within you, that's sort of the reason why Demyx was in that group. Xigbar wasn't in that group because he had a more grand role to play. If Demyx was really the Master of Masters, I feel like in that scene, he wouldn't have been included. I also just feel as though that once Xehanort was defeated and all the other Seekers of Darkness were defeated, it was very evident that they got all of their memories back. Of course, we can look back at Marluxia's defeat where he was saying that he remembers his true self, his purpose for being, all that stuff. So I really feel like, you know, once Xehanort was defeated, the grip on Demyx was released. Therefore, he must have remembered his past just like Marluxia did. Perhaps they went to go meet up with them as somebodies, something like that. I don't really know. Again, it's going to tie into the narrative of Union Cross, so I could see why it wasn't explained in Kingdom Hearts 3. So another thing that I want to debunk is the whole mannerisms argument. Now, a lot of people are saying that the way he acts, the way he talks, especially a lot of his body language, that does have something to do with the Master of Masters, and I don't consider body mannerisms evidence. I don't know if I'll be able to find this because I'm recording this before I look up all the screenshots and information and stuff, but I do believe that there was a theory at some point in time where people thought Xigbar was the Master of Masters because of his attitude, and, well...
Is that you, Lucio?
Oh my fucking god! Yeah, we sort of all know how that ended up. So I'd like to move on, and I would like to discuss the secret reports once again. The secret reports confirm that the Master of Masters has not returned yet, but he will return. It's very evident in one of Lucio's entries where he discusses that once the second Keyblade War is triggered, then he will return. He being the Master of Masters. He already mentions the other foretellers within the report, and then he ends it with he will return, which is obviously the Master of Masters. If their Master of Masters hasn't returned yet, then that means that there's no possible way that he could be within this current timeline. There's no way he could be anybody that we know, anybody that we've maybe looked over in the past. I could not see them doing that because of the way that he's described in this secret report. It also implies that this all happens after the second Keyblade War. So, Xehanort's Keyblade War. Therefore, the Master of Masters cannot exist within this current timeline. So clearly, revealing Demyx being the Master of Masters would not make sense given the evidence that we had throughout the secret reports and just other hints dropped throughout the game. So, who is the Master of Masters? If it's not Demyx, then who else could it potentially be? If you guys want my honest opinion, I do not think the Master of Masters could possibly be anybody that we know. I think that the whole Luxio and Xigbar thing was a brilliant twist. As I've said before in previous videos, I think the epilogue was one of the greatest scenes in the entire game, and that moment specifically was one of the greatest moments in the Kingdom Hearts series in general. That whole twist, that whole shock of, wow, Luxio's been Xigbar this entire time was absolutely amazing. However, I feel like if they continue to pull the rabbit out of the hat, you know, we're gonna get a little tired of it. If Kingdom Hearts just turns into this whole oh, is he really who he says he is? Is this person really who they are? You know, it sort of like muddies it up a little bit, and I feel like Kingdom Hearts just does such a good job with its storytelling, to the point where if they result to something like, you know, oh, like this person was really this person was really that person, you know, I know that there's the whole meme that everybody is Xehanort, everybody is Sora, so I mean, sort of splitting up personalities and like, no, this person's not really that person, this person is this person. If you continue that narrative and base it off of the epilogue, I feel like the epilogue loses a lot of its punch, and so does Luxu as a whole. I feel like that's very unique to Luxu that, you know, he ended up being Xigbar, and I just don't want them to really take away the punch and the kick from the epilogue by making the Master of Masters somebody that we know. I think it's possible that it could be someone that we know. I mean, who knows? Maybe down the line, the Master of Masters returns, but he takes a hold of somebody as a vessel. You know, if that did end up being Demyx, like then, I mean, that's a little weird to choose Demyx, but if it's Demyx, it's Demyx. But if he picks anybody else, you know, that would just make a little bit more sense. He hasn't been that person the entire time, like Luxu. It's been implied and thrown throughout the Ultimania that Luxu has had control of Braig or Xigbar this entire time ever since we've had him in Birth by Sleep. So this entire time, Luxu has been Braig, Braig has been Luxu, Xigbar, whatever you want to call it. It's so confusing to explain. But yes, so the Master of Masters, in my opinion, has not been somebody that we've known this entire time. There's just absolutely no way. However, something interesting that came up about the Master of Masters comes from the Kingdom Hearts 3 Ultimania, and Nomura has actually stated that the hooded figure that we see within the secret ending making the heart shape at the moon is actually the Master of Masters himself. So this is very interesting because a lot of people were theorizing it, myself included. I actually said, you know, right when it came out that I did think that the Master of Masters was the person, given the fact that he made a box shape at the moon before he did it, which is obviously symbolizing that his heart is within the black box. And then he makes a heart in terms for Kingdom Hearts. So I just think there's a lot of symbolism. There's a lot of, you know, foreshadowing that the Master of Masters, his heart is probably in the box at this point. If it's something else, then I'll be a little confused, but I do think that it is his heart. So basically, he's just carrying, like Luxu's carrying on the box. He's waiting for somebody to, you know, like take the vessel over, blah, 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 take his heart. Something to make him return, dude, I don't know. But I do think that the Master of Masters is somebody that we don't know, for the fact that it's just, it's too suspicious at this point. It's too well put together. It's too specific that the Master of Masters was supposed to come back after the second Keyblade War. And the fact that he is within this, what the fans are calling a purgatory state, quote unquote, the fact that he's there with Sora and Riku really does imply that he's sort of in that similar reality. Also, given the fact that we can imply that since the Master of Masters has not been present, and we do see him in this reality where Sora is and where Riku is and where Yuzora is, I think it's very clear that the Master of Masters has been here this entire time. So there is absolutely no way that he has been somebody that we've known this entire time. However, guys, that's my little rant. That's my little explanation as to why I don't think the Master of Masters is anybody that we know, especially somebody like Demyx. I think that Kingdom Hearts is going to continue this narrative. They're going to make it more suspicious and less easy to guess than it has been in the past, especially with the epilogue and the way that they did that. I think that it's very unpredictable. They've got a lot of things up their sleeve. We're getting a lot of information from the Ultimania, helping us basically theorize as to what's going on. And just based off of all that stuff, I think that the Master of Masters identity is going to be a secret until we obviously get to see it for ourselves. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please let me know down below all of your thoughts and opinions. Do you think that the Master of Masters is somebody that we know, or do you think that there's something else that we are not really seeing correctly? Please don't forget to do that. Like the video, and most importantly, subscribe to my channel for more Kingdom Hearts content. And yeah, until the next video, I will catch you all later. Bye-bye.